Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barik ala nabiyyina Muhammadun al-Amin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa tabi'in wa tabi'ihim bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Wa ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. The International Open University Nigeria Northwest Student Committee welcomes you to today's webinar on media literacy. I would like to invite the chairperson of the Nigeria Northwest Committee to give a brief about IOU before we proceed with the webinar. Sister Amina Ibrahim, if you can hear me, please, can we have a brief about IOU?
Yes, I can hear you.
Naam, bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi sharah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum. The Northwest Student Committee welcome you to its Awareness Month webinar on media literacy. I welcome our resource person, Brother Abdul Muqit Hussein, for taking his time to be with us. May Allah bless you abundantly and make your lecture a beneficial one. Before we proceed, I would like to give a brief about IOU. The International Open University IOU was founded by Abu Amina Bilal Phillips in 2001. It aims to grant global access to quality undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate level education programs for students at virtually no cost. Its mission is making authentic Islamic knowledge readily available to the world through the internet, solely for God's pleasure, is a noble life goal on a mission worth sacrificing all one's energies and means for. IOU has over 37,000 enrolled students in 173 countries, over 2,600 graduates in 94 countries, 8 academic departments with 28 programs, 84 student committees in 61 countries, over 2,500 exam centers in 446 countries, over 200 staff and faculty in 35 countries. African scholarship. Without a doubt, African youth carry the potential to become future leaders with the right education and training. The sky is the limit for their brilliant mind. The IOU initiative to make higher education accessible within the African continent and the diaspora has given birth to the 1 Million African Scholarship Project. It offers over 800 scholarships per year to the Zakah-eligible students, and the next one can be yours. Who can apply IOU? Applicants who can't afford IOU semester fee. High school diploma or equivalent holders for BA scholarships. Students who are fluent in English language. Students who score a minimum of 80 marks in 2 introductory Islamic studies courses. For more information, visit campus.iou.edu.gm. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Jazakallahu khair. That was an introductory remark and a brief about the International Open University by the chairperson of the International Open University Nigeria Northwest Student Committee in person of Sister Khadija Ibrahim. Moving forward, I would like to introduce us to our guest speaker for today, Brother Abdul Muqit bin Hussein. Brother Abdul Muqit holds a master's in instructional technology. He has a master's in business administration and diploma with distinction in Islamic and Arabic studies. Brother Abdul Muqit is the CEO and founder of the Giant bin Hussein Technology, BT Hub, that is located in Zaria, Kaduna, Nigeria. He is a certified Microsoft Innovator Educator Expert and a Hafiz par excellence. permit me to invite Brother Abdul Muqit to the mic. He will be taking us through media literacy, a very important and crucial topic, especially now that everything is about digital and media. Brother Abdul Muqit, we are delighted to have you. Jazakumullahu khair for accepting our invitation. If you can hear me, Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه أما بعد. Respected dignitaries together with us here, the members from the International Open University, the organizers of the session, and as well people joining us from the live session, particularly from the YouTube. I want to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you all. It's of my pleasure to be a presenter at the International Open University, being a presenter to make a sharing of the little knowledge I have on media literacy. Inshallah, I will do my possible best to share from the just little knowledge I have on what media literacy emphasizes, the misinformation and other parameters as captured in the flyer. Once again, I want to thank you so much for honoring me and seeing me worthy of this presentation. And I hope we are going to cover much and we're going to have an interactive session. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide me through seeing what is right and as well inferring in you best knowledge that will be meaningful and provisional to us all. At this moment, I'll be sharing my screen, which will take the slide of presentation for the day. And I would like you to all enjoy with me the presentation. If you have any question, inshallah, you can share it down, which is going to be coordinated by the organizers. And when I'm done, I can exercise the questions. Those I don't know, I'll be glad to say I don't know. While those I know, inshallah, will do my possible best to do justice to them. The topic given to me for presentation is media literacy. The things we're going to be looking at in this media literacy is we will be identifying, firstly, what is misinformation? How can we fact check some information we see on the media? And how do we analyze if actually an information is biased or it is not biased? And this will be the scope of our presentation today. As we all know, today in the world, we're in the world of media. Media controls what you see, what you believe, and as well what you click as well, even to our feelings. To some extent, media also determines our future. So it is very important that we are very skeptical in how we relate with media. We need to have some literacy on what even media is, what is its genesis, and how do we analyze what we see. Back with the days where there was not media, or let me say there was not mass media, which include the social media, the content creations, the news channels, and what have you. The only way of interaction is by traditional way of communication, maybe by jingles, maybe by moving to the neighborhood or sending messages verbally or in writing. But with the advent of technology today, we now have what we know as the media, which serve as a medium of connecting people either from the same locality, from the same country, from the same continent, in fact, to the whole of the world. Today, we live in a global world. We are only separated by land, but almost just like we're having today. Today, I'm connecting with various brothers and sisters those from different countries, and as we can have it in today's session as well. And myself, I'm in Nigeria. I'm even inside a confined place, but I'm communicating to the world. So when dealing with such kind of information, which even what I'm saying now is part of the information, how do you relate with those kind of information? How will you be skeptical in a way that you don't endanger yourself or take the wrong perception or be at the receiving end of its negativity? I believe with this, I have made a little introduction of what media literacy is and why it is important. But to break it down more, I would like to give it like this. The breakdown of media literacy actually refers to the ability to critically analyze media messages. In the whole of the media handles we have, let's call it social media, or maybe the news media, or the mass media, maybe the radio station, the TV station, the website, blogs. You have the maybe Facebook as a social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, X, and what have you. All these places, what you see, they are message, they are media messages, and you can as well call them information. So your ability to critically analyze, is this information right or not right? What is the reason behind this information or message? This is what we know as media literacy. And as well, understanding how the media influences perception, we will understand that media influences perception of people, the way people think, the way people feel whenever they see something. And as well, being able to create responsible and informed content. At the end of this, we'll be able to know how to create an accurate and responsible, informed content whenever we are relating with the media. And there are some essential needs for digital in this digital age. In this digital age, media literacy is actually very, very important. One of the reasons why it is important is the internet is saturated with both accurate and false information. Many people are being fall victims of false information, right from maybe advert of job employment, maybe sharing a post in a social media platform, maybe even on our WhatsApp. We have been seeing some fake links that says that maybe the federal government is sharing food, fill in your information. At the end, those information you fill in, they use it to hack you. They use it to steal your information, and before you know, you're at the receiving end. They hack your account if you're not digitally literate or you don't know how to relate with this ICT gadget. So, and some people as well, you make use of the media for a better purpose or for positivity, just like we're having this session today. Today we are getting educated on the media space, which is one of the positive aspects. Some people get information, some people know what is going on within their neighborhood. The government as well make use of it in a positive way, and while some politicians or some of the government, they also use it in a negative way and in a way that people are being affected. So wherever or however you make use of the media, you should know that there is the accurate information being displayed and there is the wrong information. And people must navigate a flood of news, definitely, social media and digital content. Because today you can't live without this gadget. You can't live without hearing what is on, what is going. The social media you can't do without it, and as well digital content. Maybe even this presentation I'm making, the one I'm sharing, is a content. And there is need for this media literacy to protect people against manipulation. And there are some roles of media literacy in the critical thinking. It plays a very critical role. It plays a very, very critical role in critical thinking, because this media we are seeing, or the media literacy, it helps us to distinguish between fact and opinions. What is a fact? A fact is something that is actual, that is true. While opinion could be a selfish interest, which could be true or it could be wrong. So it's very important for you to have this media literacy, for you to be able to determine, is this what this person is saying or what this media outlets are saying? Is it their own opinion or it is fact or what happened? And it also encourages questioning of sources. When you have media literacy, you'll be able to question if actually this thing is true or right. And it will also enable individuals to make informed decisions. You don't just make decisions like that. You have to be different from the way a layman is going to make decisions. So this is the reason why media literacy is very, very important, and which we are treating a part today. The next thing we are going to be looking is what? The spread of information, which is part of what we are going to be discussing. What is spread of information? There is what we know as misinformation itself. When we say misinformation, it simply refers to incorrect or misleading information that are shared unknowingly. Maybe when you are posting on your social media handle, or you are posting on your status, sometimes you post some things which are not correct. Or it might be correct, but it was released mistakenly or unknowingly. So that is what we know as misinformation. And sometimes it could be a misleading information that is shared unknowingly. If you share something to people which will mislead them and it is not shared as it's supposed to be, then that is a misinformation. You are getting a misinformation. So that's why we said it is incorrect or misleading information that is shared unknowingly. There are some things that they are misleading and they are not supposed to be shared. So when you share them, it is in misinformation, or when the information is incorrect. Then there's also what we mean by disinformation. Actually, this definition, they are coined from the larger definition of these key terms, which you can get the better and more elongated definitions maybe by your Wikipedia or maybe by Oxford dictionaries or so or other dictionaries. So the disinformation, there's what you know as the disinformation, which is different from the misinformation. Disinformation is a false information spread deliberately to deceive people, while the former one, which is the misinformation, is incorrect or misleading information that is shared unknowingly. While this one, it is shared knowingly, deliberately to deceive people, as we have been saying it. When you want to be scammed or when you want to be deceived, the media space, many people, or is it the media men or individuals like me and you or whosoever can just release information to deceive people. That is disinformation. Why we now have what you know as the fake news. The fake news actually refers to completely fabricated stories presented as the real news, and it doesn't happen. Let's assume today I say that 5 people were killed at the airport, at the Abuja International Airport this morning, and I now spread it into, then this is a fake news. It is totally fabricated, it didn't happen. While for the disinformation, it could be that it is 2 people that were killed, maybe at a specific location. Then I say only one person is being killed. So you see, it is a false information to deceive people that only one person was killed, whereas it is 2 people or more people that were killed. While misinformation, it is incorrect. Then I say that a goat has been killed or a goat died. There's difference between kill, or let's assume I say 2 women die at the federal airport. It's different from 2 women were killed at the airport. So we have seen what the differences between the misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. So these are some of the categories of misinformation we should have at the back of our mind. Please, are we together and I'm communicating? I'm sharing my screen from the end, please.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, we are with you.
Okay. Okay, so that is that. So the next thing is how social media amplifies misinformation. There are different strategies in which the social media uses social media amplifies misinformation. Firstly, is by algorithms. Algorithms promote engaging but not necessarily accurate content. When I hear something and another person shares something, before you know it, it's going to be spread. That does not mean that that information is correct. So this social media, they make use of algorithm. They see, okay, there is one person that used to post and he or she used to have likes, followers. And another person also shared it, another person shared. Before you know it, the mass media would share and spread that thing because it is something that has been programmed. So the system will automatically share those information to your view, to my view. That is why you, at the end of the time, in the early morning, everybody will know what is trending. But we should put it at the mind that it's not anything that you see that is going viral that is real. And there is misinformation spread faster than the fact-checked news. Many information you are seeing on the media that are misinformed, they even move more faster. People share it more than even the real news. So you need to take note of fact-checking tools or make use of fact-checking news if at all we want to share a content or speak on a content or endorse a content. Then the echo chambers reinforce fake beliefs as well. We have many channels today, what they are looking for is just followers. They only need likes. So they'll be like, I should be the first person to share this information for me to have more followers, more likes, and so that people will share my content and my page is going to be promoted. So these are some of the ways in which social media amplifies misinformation. And there is the next thing, which is the psychological factors influencing the spread. There are some psychological factors that influences the spread, which include confirmation bias. These are some of the psychological factors that influences the spread of information. Confirmation bias, believing information that supports one view. So sometimes we just believe that we believe information that supports, when I believe information that supports my own view, I will just share it. Maybe this something favors me. Let's assume it favors my ethnicity, or it favors my religion, or it favors my people, or it favors my interest. I will just share it without authenticating is it right or not. So this is how people share information for spread. The next thing is emotional triggers. Sensational stories spread more faster. Whenever you see someone, sometimes they actually fabricate some scenes. They will even tell the person presenting or somebody they want to showcase that you should be emotional, cry at this so moment, maybe look like you are crying. Those kind of information they spread more faster. Before you know it, they steal your interest and you try to believe that this information is true and it is not true. It's just like we having homes. Sometimes our children they cry just for us to believe that they are in pains, whereas they are not in pains, or sometimes they do something wrong and they cry. Or maybe females, are more emotional. When you see a female is crying, you attach emotion and you are easily convinced that this female or woman, she's one that is right. But not necessarily that she is right, and it might be that she is right. So these are the psychological factors that influence the spread of information, the informations we see on our screen. Then the next is social validation. The social validation, it means people trust information shared by their networks. If I see my scholar or my teacher or my friend spread information, I want to share it because I have trust in him, or I believe in him, or because I have attachment with him. So, but that doesn't mean that that information is factual. So we should have this and we should bear it at the mind that these are ways information are shared, and we should be very, very careful while sharing information. There are some techniques that are used in misinformation. One is what we know as the clickbait headlines. Mostly news media and even social media influencers or activists, they make use of clickbait headlines. These are sensational titles designed to attract clicks. They will put something, let's assume for example, let's assume they will put click and get 1 million instantly. Click and get 1 million instantly. People will be tends to click that, right? Or the headline will say, so government sacked person, and that person is a figure, not knowing that that person maybe he offended he offended the government, or he probably did something that is wrong. So we attach sensational titles to some posts in order to attract people, and before you know it, people go into there, and before you know it, they make false judgment. And it is often misleading, exaggerating, or completely false sometimes. It might be that what you see, like BBC News, I know they are very good in putting headlines, clickbait headlines, for example, or headline, let me say headlines, that it will make you to go and search for that information. Most of their news, they are very good in, and what I mean here is I'm talking the positive aspect. So whenever they want people to read a post, positive one, they put a very good headline that will attract you to as well look at, and some other channels as we have it. So the same thing, content creators and so on. So manipulated images and videos. Nowadays, we're in the world of technology. Technology is changing. Just like you see me here, I can change my background, even like this, I'm saying Zoom or YouTube or what have you, they have virtual backgrounds or dynamic backgrounds that I can change. So I can put a background like where I am not, and I show that that is where I am. And before you know it, it will mislead people that maybe I'm in a terrible space, or I'm in a place that doesn't exist. And we also have what is known as deep fake videos that create realistic, but they are fake events. As we know, we have AI now, which I'm going to present next. And we also have out of context information. These are true information presented in a misleading way. It is true something, but it is presented in a misleading way. Which example can I give? Okay, I can say that Abdul Mukid presented at the IOU University at, let's assume, at Australia. Yes, I presented at the IOU University, but virtually not at Australia. So I presented it in a misleading way. Everybody knows that, for example, IOU is not in so country. Then I now say that I presented at that country. So what I mean that no, that university is in that country, but I did not mean that I went to the country. Do you see? It can give two meanings. So sometimes people make this kind of information to mislead people. Then using old events or quotes in a new misleading content. Then I can now bring, let's assume there is the trending governor and there is a sacked governor. So you will now bring a video of the new governor when he was together with the former governor and he was hailing and saying that this governor has done good and that this. So you see, it's an old information. Then I now brought it at this new time when maybe the new governor is not in a good state with the former governor. And you now think that it is now that the governor is saying it. And before you know it, it's called political imbalance or political chaos. I also know what we also have what you know as deep fake technology. Deep fake technology include AI generated videos. I believe there are some trending videos that has been trending these days. You see maybe two politicians, they show them having kung fu, maybe fighting or what have you. So something like that can be created, or you see a celebrity and a jointed information picture of someone you know and somebody that they have never met, and they join information and the AI shows them hugging each other. There are AI like that. Or you see someone that AI turns his face to be red or changes his face to be an animated face, and they will tell you that so person has become an animal. Maybe someone he was a victim of an accident, and this was how he became, and it could be faked. So these are some of the pros and cons of the AI and some of the technology. Then used in political propaganda, scams, and fake news. They also use it for propagating fake news, for propagating false political ambitions, and for scamming people and fake news. So these are some of the techniques used in misinforming people. Sister Mariam, please, how many minutes do I have so that I know how to move faster or break down?
Okay, you have 20 more minutes.
Okay, fantastic. So, how do we identify misinformation? Now that we can't escape having information in the media space, what are the ways we identify misinformation? First way we identify if this information is misinformed or it is informed is by checking the credibility of the source. You get to, does the source have history of accuracy? The first, where you got that information, is it a source that they usually propagate something that is real, that is true? And are they registered? Are they news body if it is a news? And if it's just a content, you see that person posting it, is it an accurate person? Is it somebody that is known of a good value? That is one way. You should have it in mind. If you see something being shared by someone who is a tyrant, who is somebody not renowned, or somebody that is not known, he's known for sharing fake news, he always apologizes, then you don't need to take the information very, very important, and you don't need to take it true except otherwise compromised. The next thing is it a reputable news organization? We have reputable news organizations that they are registered and they know them for saying and making research and making sure information are factual before they release it. Then the next is cross-referencing with trusted outlet. You have to check multiple sources before accepting news, sometimes as true. Sometimes you have to see, does this news, do they say the same thing? They could have different taglines, but you have to check the information they are professing, is it the same? Sometimes you see BBC say A and CNN they say B, and they are all saying the same thing, but the way they all say the information is different. So before you make justification or believe in that, you have to check as well from different or multiple sources before you try to ascertain the rightness or wrongness of any information. Then avoid relying on a single platform. For example, just social media. Social media, there are people that says whatever they want. They fabricate and even create fake pages or fake identities. So always make sure that apart from saying something in social media, if it is critical and it is dangerous and that you need to take a side on it, make sure you check the source of that post, either on social media, then you check it on their main website or what have you. Then identify bias and sensationalism. Look for emotional charged words. Sometimes be very careful when you come across posts that there are sensational or emotional words. Sometimes they are intentionally used to steal your emotions and to steal your thinking and to steal your psychology. So whenever a sensational or emotional word is used in a post or on a tagline, don't easily fall victim. Go and read that post before you believe in that. Or let's assume what's sensational, or let's assume we said the minister of so sector has been discharged, or the minister of sector has been arrested, and you already know that minister to be of good value. So that arrested, they did not say the reason why he was arrested. Maybe by then he did a mistake or he did something that is wrong. But they won't put it, they only put that thing that is sensational or emotional. So we should be very careful whenever we come across taglines or titles that are sensational or emotional. Then you should consider whether the news is balanced or one-sided. There are some news media, or there are some content creators, or there are some bloggers or some sites that they pay them to fabricate information. They pay them to post wrong idea. Even when something happens, they pay them and they are doing business. So don't fall victim of just taking side without knowing the real and the authenticity of the information. And that's why we say you should cross-check from different platforms. Then the next is using fact-checking tools. There are some tools you can use to check if actually a news or an information is true or not. This website, we have what known as the snopes.com. You can always go there to check if information is true or false, if it is fabricated or not fabricated, if it is from a genuine source. We also have factcheck.org. You can also go there to also fact check some information. And you also have the Google Reverse image search. You also check there, you see various people that post this image and what they write about those images. So especially if an image is attached to an information. Apart from that, there are some ways you can check some of the facts. Maybe we have some AI chatbots, and we have some AIs that have been developed, which you can always interact with them to ask questions, which I believe even Google has an AI that the AI feature that has been integrated with the search engine, where you can ask some questions and it gives you answer. You can from there you can fact check some things. That is from the Google browser, which is the Chrome. Or if you're using Chrome, when you're using Microsoft browser, you can use, I believe, the Edge also has an AI which is known as the Bing. So you can always use them to fact check some things before you authenticate, and they can also help you with some referencing on what actually happened based on that case study or scenario. They will also have what's known as the reverse searching image to verify authenticity, which I have also explained the Google reverse image. Then there are some strategies you need to adopt while fact checking information. Number one thing is you need to evaluate the source and the credibility, as I've said. If it is a well-known news agency or an obscure blog, anybody, even me today, I can create a blog now and just put forth information and reference it. So you should be very skeptical on how you do that. So you should evaluate by doing this. And are there sources cited for their claims? If there are no citations, then you should be very, very skeptical before taking information or using it as a proof or commenting on that. Then investigating the author, the person that posted that thing, you have to investigate it. Does the writer have a relevant expertise in the field of post they made? If they don't have relevant expertise in that area, you don't need to take it very, very emotional. You don't need to take it factual, and you don't need to, even when you believe it with yourself. But the moment you're trying to say it to others or post it to others, you might be trying to endangering other people's life. And are they associated with credible institutions? If yes, then fantastic. Then cross-checking with multiple sources. You can compare news reports from different perspectives and say, and reliable news trend to be reported consistently by multiple outlets. And the last thing, which is under the strategies, is looking for supporting evidences. Are claims backed by facts? Did they give facts, the reasons why this and that? Are proper research made, or is there primary source? Check the reference and the citations that were made and make sure you trace it before you go on by reposting or sharing or commenting or liking, because all this can endanger you and you can be accountable for any of this action you do, or by making a content based on that as well. Is there proof such as document, data, or witness reports? If there is not, then be very careful how you engage on the media space. Then the next thing is understanding media bias. Please, are we together, please? Hello? Hello? Please, are we together? Can anyone respond?
Walaikum assalam. We're together.
Walaikum.
Okay, mashallah. So, how do we understand media bias? There are different types of media bias. This is another information you need to know and be very careful with. There is what we know as the selection bias, there is what we know as omission bias, and there's what we know as the spin bias. Okay, what is selection bias? Selection bias, it's only covering certain events while ignoring others. Let's take, for example, what is happening in the Palestine by the Hamas, right? So sometimes they only take what is happening by the Hamas and they do not say what is happening by the other party. So before you know it, there will be a bias in the information. Let's say maybe Hamas sends its troops to this place to defend, or Hamas, they will only say Hamas sent their troops, or troops from Hamas attacked so thing, or so place, or so person. So there could be bias sometimes. So some information could be biased without saying the other side. So whenever you're saying the right side, you have to also say the wrong, the left side. And the next thing is omission bias, leaving out important details that change the story. You can cut out something that is very important among the chain. You are saying this, what happened, but you removed what happened. For example, let's assume the topic I'm presenting today is media literacy, misinformation, right? media bias, and so on. So someone will now just say that I only presented on media literacy and he didn't cover, and when he is asked what was my topic of presentation, he only said media literacy. So omission bias, somebody can be biased and they will not cover other information. So this is one of the things that happens in the media space as well. They leave out important details that changes the story as well. Or when being asked, where did I make this presentation? Then someone just say he made the presentation virtually. But actually, you need to say that I made the presentation virtually at so institution, or through the channel of this institution, for example. So if I am biased and I don't want that thing to be showcased, the reporter could be biased in while reporting. And then that's what we know as omission bias, apart from the selection bias. Then the last is what we know as the spin bias. The spin bias is presenting fact in a way that favors one side, as I've said it earlier. So I can say information that only supports my country, or that supports my religion, or that support my ethnicity. So I could be biased, and everybody could be biased. So you should know that these people that are behind this scenario, behind this website, behind this news, or behind the media at large, some people can be biased. So you have to be very careful. Then recognizing biased language and framing techniques. Does the wording suggest an opinion rather than fact? Make clarification what is opinion and what is fact. Then the next are the emotional charge terms used instead of neutral words. There are sometimes that you need to use neutral words, where they will use emotional words just to deceive you or to steal your attention. So these are some of the ways the media used to be biased. And case studies of biased media reporting, you have seen different cases, example of real world biases in the news stories, maybe during the Donald Trump election, during the Hamas, during the this Palestine incident that is ongoing, or during the look at the information between Ukraine and Russia, or between China and, and Taiwan, and what have you, or maybe between Nigeria and Niger, the incident that almost everybody knows. So sometimes, if it is a post from somebody from a country, they might be biased and so on. So you have to be very, very careful and not to be sentimental. So, and how they influence public perception. So these are it. Then coming to the end of the presentation, there are ways to be responsible media consumer. I am a consumer of the media. You are a consumer. We that we read posts, we engage with the internet, even when we don't post something, or we don't create, or we are not media men or broadcasters. So how do we become responsible consumers at the end? The number one thing is questioning before sharing. Ask. You should always question before you share something. If you share something that is wrong, that means you attest to it, except otherwise you declaim it. Once you share a post, you can be held responsible for sharing a post. You should know that. And even at the court of law, you can be held responsible. And is it verified? Only share something that is verified. And what evidence do you have? Do you have evidence? You make sure you have your reference on ground, or you have the real information. You say somebody committed something wrong and you don't have the information, you don't have the picture, you don't have the video, you don't have the main source. So you should be very, very careful as a consumer of media. The next thing is following diverse and credible news sources. Follow credible news sources, not just any local channel or blog or website that has been created by novice or someone who is not professional. So be very, very careful in the kind of channels you follow or news media, and don't rely on one media outlet. Then lastly, the way we could become a responsible media consumers are what educating others about media literacy, just like how IOU is doing, and they have the credit. These people, many people are victims of these circumstances, and that before you know it, it affects them now, tomorrow, or even in the future. And some, it has already killed many people. It has already destroyed some people's life at the past because of media misinformation, disinformation, fake news, and you believe in it, you go out, what have you, and before you know it, you are sabotaged, or what have you, are receiving it. So we should be advocate for this, and we should share knowledge with our friends and family, our children, our parents, our colleagues, our working colleagues, and so on. and we can encourage discussion to verify information. And lastly, we can engage critically with content online. We should always fact check before accepting information. We should be cautious of emotional driven posts and the viral. So thank you so much. I believe I have made justice to this to this topic, and I hope that we all enjoy it, and we am able to cover the little from the little knowledge I have had. I hope it's going to be beneficial. We are going to make use of it and will be skeptical uh, while engaging with our media. And I believe the information I just offered now has contributed to our level of media literacy. In a nutshell, I've been able to explain what media literacy is, the definition, and subcategories of it. I've also been able to identify what misinformation is, disinformation, fake news, and the strategies that have been followed for that. And I was able to give references on where to fact check information and the importance of fact checking. And lastly, how to analyze media bias. I've been able to see one or two things. How do you analyze if an information is biased or not? Things we should put at the back of our mind. So thank you so much for having me at this session. And at this level, I will say thank you so much for listening and for attending. And I will be glad to receive your questions, your contributions, and your whatsoever you have that's going to be make this session meaningful. Once again, I'm Abdul Hussein, and thank you to the organizers, more importantly.
Jazakumullahu khair, Brother Abdul Muqit. That was such a detailed, concise, and educative lecture. I believe we all have learned a lot from this interaction this afternoon. May Allah continue to bless you and increase you in more beneficial knowledge. And also, may Allah enrich the Ummah with more and more likes of Brother Abdul Muqit.
You too.
So far from the comment sections of the YouTube live streaming, I cannot see any question. But I would like to encourage participants or viewers that may come and view this recorded later that if you have any question, you can as well drop it in the comment section. Inshallah, the presenter is reachable and he will be able to answer you in the comment section. I would like to ask a question about benefits or the economic value of having a lot of followers online. Is it that it contributes to them financially, or why do people care about having a lot of followers, maybe on YouTube or their social media handle?
Okay, thank you so much for asking that question and for the comment and prayers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly as well and all others we together. Your question asked, the question asked by the sister is there any economic benefit of having followers? Yes, there are economic benefits attached to having many followers, either on social media, maybe on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or whatsoever, even subscribers at your website or blog. Number one economic benefit is some of these media, for example, the social media or the content creation software. For example, let's take Facebook. Facebook has what we know as the monetization. Also, YouTube also has what we know as the monetization. The monetization aspect of it, when you have many followers and you are presenting, when you have many followers and you are posting some things and you have more engagement, people like or follow or comment, you can be paid at the end of that post if it reaches so number of engagement. The same thing, YouTube, when certain number of people watch your videos, you have high watch, YouTube will pay you, and that is what is known as the monetization. And some other platforms also has it. So if you don't have that number of followers, people don't enjoy, people don't follow you, there's no how they will pay you because you don't have followers. That is one monetization benefit. Secondly is issue of recognition. Whenever the government or the politicians or NGO, they are looking for someone that is famous and they want to feature that person, you have become a celebrity. Okay, I've seen the question, thank you. So when you become a celebrity, so people that needs engagement on what they want to see, or maybe they want to come out for political reasons, or they want to share a palliative, or they want to do this and that, and they want people to know about that. Or even companies, they want people to know about their product. So they will look for people or social media handles of or content creators who have many followers. So they pay those people in huge money, and when they post that thing on their pages or on their sites, they will be paid for that because they have assisted in advertising. So this is two. Then lastly is issue of positive impact to the community. When you have many followers, you'll be able to impact the community because people will take you as somebody renowned. If you are renowned as an educator or educationist, anything you post and you have many followers, you'll be able to change people's life. You'll be able to change people's mindset, people's perception. So these are the three things I will say based on the economic benefits and the even financial benefit and something social benefit of having followers. I believe I have been able to answer this question despite there are some other ways in which having followers can be beneficial to whosoever has those numbers of followers. I don't know if I was able to answer the question.
Yes, alhamdulillah. It was well answered.
Mashallah.
So can we move to the next question, please?
Yes, we can, please.
Okay. Someone asked that these days we have AI. How do we prove its authenticity?
Okay, great. We can prove the authenticity of AI. Firstly, there are some media that they already embed uh, authenticity tool. Let me use the word authenticity tool or fact checking tool. They will tell you that this information was created with AI, right? So, for example, Facebook has that. They shows that whenever you post something that is AI generated, they will tell you it is generated by AI. And sometimes you have the chatbot, sometimes that responds to they automatically tell you that you are conversing with AI because the model has been trained. Then the next thing is issue of when you can use all these sites that I tell you or that I mentioned earlier that you can use for fact checking. If it is an AI, if it is an image, if it is an image, you can use the you can use the Google to authenticate if that image is actually true or false. If it is fabricated by email or if it is generated by image. And for sometimes, even while checking those images, you see that they are not as realistic. If at all you know how natural things looks like, so you could be able to say yes, this is an image that is generated by AI. Though there are some AI now that they are very strong. That if they create something, you will definitely know that it is not it will be very hard for you to know if it is AI or not. So as I said, you can use snopes.com, you can check factcheck.org, and as well, if it's an image, you can check Google reverse image search. So this one, they are going to tell you if something is factual or not factual. So that is the answer to this question. Yes.
Okay, there's another question in your direct message.
Okay. What are the most strategies individuals and societies can adopt to combat the spread of information and disinformation and fake news? So they are the most effective, based on my own knowledge. But the most effective strategies individuals and societies can adopt to combat spread of information and disinformation and fake news are firstly making laws and regulations. The Nigeria, we have NCC, right? We have what you know as the NCC. We also have some other we also have other bodies that regulate the information you see, how information comes to you. So when the government make laws and policies that avoid people from posting anyhow, this is one of the way to manage this. Secondly, at the local level, maybe state level, you can enforce agencies. We already have the police. Whenever somebody shares something that is false or that tarnishes your image or false information, you can report that person to the police. Because police, they are cross-functional. So you can report that person. You see, next time they will not do that again. And the next thing is maybe by local communities. You can see that anybody that is living in this life, now that we have content creators, so you can make information. Let's assume you are an emir, you are a governor, you are a chairman, you are a senator, you are what? You can go on to make a law or make a rule or regulation that is concerned with where you are, depending on your power and the locality where you are and your strength. So you can make laws that from now hence nobody should share some type of information. Anybody that is found guilty of this and that, he will be. This is the punishment and different categories of punishment. So this is one way in which we are to curtail spread of misinformation or disinformation and fake news. So people will be in a place where there is no rule, there is no regulation. Before you know it, things can go out of hand. And I think this is what I can say based on ways to regulate this sort of misinformation. Thank you.
Jazakumullahu khair, Brother Abdul Muqit. I think this is all about the questions I can see in the chat box. To all of our viewers, Jazakumullahu khair for staying tuned to this time. At this juncture, I would like to invite, okay, so inshallah, we'll be rounding up the program straight away. On behalf of the chairperson of the Nigeria Northwest Students Committee, in person of Sister Khadija Ibrahim, we would like to appreciate you, and especially our brothers and sisters that joined from the West African country, Eswana, if I pronounce it correct. May Allah reward you all for your time. And we also hope to join you in your own programs. Brother Abdul Muqit, we cannot thank you enough. We hope that, inshallah, we will have more and more of these lectures and collaboration with you to benefit from your wealth of knowledge and experience.
Thank you.
Now, the student committee will also want to appreciate the university for providing this avenue and opportunity for the Ummah to learn. We also want to appreciate our faculties and our student committee officer, Sister Maha, for her unrelenting effort. Jazakillahu khair. To all the students also, may Allah grant us beneficial knowledge and bless us in this life and the hereafter. So we'll be ending the program here. Jazakumullahu khair once again. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك